You ever get that weird chill down your spine when you realize something epic just got completely wasted? Like seeing someone take a lightsaber-wielding demon and treat him like a tutorial enemy. Darth Maul shows up, looking like the final boss of every nightmare you've ever had, and then boom, sliced in half before he even gets a second round of dialogue. I mean, come on. The guy looked like he eats Jedi for breakfast, and still got treated like a Force-sensitive speed bump. This is the kind of character that walks on screen and immediately steals the oxygen out of the room. The look, the stance, the menace. It was all there, and then Star Wars just threw him into a pit. Like we wouldn't notice, like we wouldn't care. But let's be honest, we noticed. And we've never stopped caring. Because when you sell someone as the next Vader, you better deliver more than a double-bladed lightsaber and 2.5 snarls. What's wild is how Maul became this weird, mythological figure in the fandom. The guy barely says anything, gets yeeted into a reactor shaft, and still ends up more iconic than half the characters with actual arcs. That's not just a testament to his design, it's a sign that something went really, really wrong in the story department. You don't make a villain that cool and then give all the screen time to a guy negotiating tariffs with the Trade Federation. And yeah, I get it, the prequels had a plan, kind of. Sidious had to stay in the shadows, Dooku had to monologue, and Anakin had to flirt with sand or whatever. But Maul didn't just get pushed aside, he got erased. Reduced to a fun fact in the Star Wars trivia vault, the dude survived off fan loyalty and action figures alone. That's not a legacy, that's a crime scene. But the thing is, we did get more Maul. Later. In pieces. And not just physically. Clone Wars, Rebels, all that good stuff. But the damage was already done. The first impression was missed, and no amount of animated redemption arcs can fully patch that wound. Because by the time we got the character he was always meant to be, most people had already moved on to the next franchise-shaped distraction. In this video, we're diving headfirst into the tragedy, the hype, the resurrection, and the ridiculous waste of one of the coolest villains Star Wars ever slapped together. We'll look at why Maul's design outshined his screen time, how later stories try to fix a massive misstep, and why this one, Sith warrior, still haunts the fandom like a ghost with unfinished business. When you first saw Darth Maul ignite that double-bladed lightsaber, your brain probably short-circuited a little. Not just because it looked cool, but because it hinted at something ancient, dangerous, and downright terrifying, lurking in the shadows of Star Wars lore. He didn't speak much, which only made him more intriguing. In a galaxy of chatty politicians and drama-prone Jedi, this dude rolled in with face tattoos, yellow eyes, and zero chill. From the trailers alone, people thought Maul was going to be the next big thing. He wasn't just hyped up, he was weaponized marketing. Toys, posters, cereal boxes, you name it, Maul's face was slapped on it like he was about to be the Darth Vader of the prequels. Even the way he moved was different. It's that hunched, predatory stance, the martial arts-inspired fighting style. He didn't walk, he stalked. And yet, beneath all that mystery, the film barely scratched the surface. We knew he worked for Sidious. We knew he hated Jedi, and that's kinda it. Imagine introducing a villain who looks like Satan had a baby with a ninja and giving him fewer lines than Watto. What was this guy's motivation? What did he believe in? Was he just a Sith pitbull, or something more? That's the wild part. All the ingredients were there to make Maul a chilling, unforgettable antagonist. Instead, they used him like a mid-boss. No backstory, no emotional weight, no arc. Just an ominous growl and a one-way ticket to the bottom of a Naboo reactor shaft. It's like the writers knew he was cool, but had no idea why. So the real question is, was this by design, or did Lucas just forget about him? Was Maul always meant to be a disposable weapon, or was there a much bigger plan that got chopped up in editing? Either way, we were left with a villain who looked like a legend, but was treated like a footnote. It's honestly maddening how the film built this guy up just to discard him like an extra from a video game cutscene. He doesn't even get a dramatic send-off. He just gets cut in half and plummets into a CGI pit, while Obi-Wan makes the Jedi equivalent of an oops face. And that's it. Roll credits. No emotional payoff, no final words, not even a moment to sit in the weight of it. People love to point out how cool the Duel of the Fates sequence was, and yes, the choreography and music are top-tier Star Wars, but let's be honest, that fight deserved to mean something, and it didn't. There was no relationship between Maul and the Jedi, no sense of rivalry, ideology, or personal stakes. They were just chess pieces slamming into each other because the script said so. You had this warrior of darkness, practically dripping with menace, and the story treated him like a mini-boss you defeat before moving on to the real villain. Except the real villain was a senator arguing about taxes. I mean, come on. You can't just hype up this death machine and then shift gears to galactic zoning ordinances. There's something genuinely heartbreaking about what Darth Maul could have been, not just as a character, but as a symbol. He was the face of a new Star Wars era, and yet he was denied the chance to leave a mark beyond his aesthetic. When you strip away the spectacle, what's left is just a feeling of absence, of potential left to rot in a writer's drawer. Imagine a version of the prequels, where Maul returns in each film, evolving with the story, haunted by his own near-death, more brutal with each encounter, driven by revenge, shame, and the hunger to matter in a galaxy that tossed him aside. That's a villain you remember. That's a legacy you build over time. But we never got that. Instead, we got Count Dooku as a replacement, who's great, sure, but plays a completely different game. Maul was the shadow, the nightmare, the one you feared would leap out of the dark at any moment. Losing that changed the entire tone of the trilogy. It traded fear for formality. And yeah, the Clone Wars series brought him back. But that was years later, and in animation. By then, a lot of fans had already checked out or moved on. His resurrection was brilliant, but it also felt like an apology from a franchise trying to make amends for a bad breakup. Too little too late for some, because in the end, it wasn't just that Maul died. It's that he never really lived in the first place. He was a phantom in more ways than one. And once he was gone, all we could do was imagine what he might have been if anyone had truly believed in him. But let's not pretend the guy wasn't still an absolute beast while he lasted. Darth Maul's visual design alone is worth a dissertation. That red and black Zabrok face, the horned silhouette, the piercing Sith eyes. He didn't just walk into a room, he carved fear into it. There's a reason he made grown adults in 1999 feel like scared kids again. His fighting style was so unorthodox compared to the usual Jedi twirling. You could tell they built his choreography around Ray Park's athleticism. Every strike, every spin, every movement looked like it could slice a man in half. He fought like a weapon that had been locked away too long and finally unleashed. And the double-bladed lightsaber. I mean, come on. That thing broke brains when it first showed up. It wasn't just a gimmick hit, rewrote the rules of lightsaber combat on the spot. Every clash became a dance of chaos and control. It wasn't just a fight hit, it was a performance. And Maul knew how to own the stage. What's wild is that, despite everything, Maul did come back. And not just in the literal sense. Fans willed it into existence. The hunger for more Maul was so strong, the franchise couldn't ignore it forever. And when they finally brought him back in the Clone Wars, he was deeper, darker, and way more compelling. This wasn't the same silent enforcer we saw in Phantom Menace. This was a broken man with scars on his soul, a survivor of betrayal, abandonment, and manipulation. He wasn't just angry anymore, he was tragic, and it worked. It gave him emotional depth and actual narrative weight. From forming his own criminal empire to challenging Sidious to his final showdown with Obi-Wan in Rebels. Maul's return was one of the best character arcs Star Wars ever pulled off. And let's be real, his death in Rebels was more emotionally satisfying than most live-action scenes in the prequels. It was quiet, respectful, and genuinely earned. That evolution gave fans what they'd been waiting for all along. Proof that Maul was never just about cool lightsabers and scary makeup. He was a force of nature trying to prove he mattered, trying to carve out a legacy with his bare hands and rage alone. And in doing so, he gave us a rare gift, a second chance. Not just for himself, but for the fans who always believed he was more than the movies allowed him to be. But even with all those second chances, you can't undo a first impression. The Phantom Menace locked Darth Maul into cinematic history as a missed opportunity. A legend in style, but not in substance. His fall wasn't just physical, it was narrative. A victim of pacing, structure, and poor priorities. In a saga that's supposed to explore the rise and fall of darkness, Maul should have been a crucial pillar. Instead, he was a glorified obstacle. A final boss with no backstory, no philosophy, no soul. And that absence echoes louder the more you revisit the film. It's not just what happened, it's what didn't happen. Because a villain like Maul doesn't come around often. You don't just stumble into a design that iconic, a presence that unforgettable, a performance that magnetic. And to waste all that for a single shock moment feels like a creative crime. One the saga only partially recovered from. Yes, Clone Wars and Rebels gave him life. But that's the tragedy, isn't it? It took 2 animated series, a decade of fan outcry, and countless retcons to give this character the weight he always deserved in the first place. He wasn't just underused, he was misunderstood, and maybe that's why Maul sticks with us so deeply, because he reminds us that sometimes brilliance gets ignored, potential gets wasted, and legends get cut down before they're ever allowed to shine. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider looking at my pinned comment and checking out the links for my Amazon storefront. It contains my favorite Legos, my gear in which I make videos, and comics that I read on a daily basis. I update it constantly, so please, take a moment and click on the link. On top of that, check out my second channel, Critical Analysis Hub Plus. And my third channel, Critical Analysis Hub XP. Just one click would go on a long way in supporting my channels and future in YouTube.